Okay, let's see if you can follow along with me. This is problem number 39, section 3.5, implicit differentiation. So we're asked to find y double prime at x equals 0. First of all, let's find out what y is when x is equal to 0. So we'll just substitute 0 in for x. And if you substitute 0 in for x into this original equation, you'll find that y has to equal 1. If x is 0, then that first term is going to be 0. E to the first power is equal to e, so y would have to equal 1. And then we're going to go through and we're just going to find the derivative of that equation. So using the product rule for that first term, you're going to have 1 times y plus x times y prime plus, and then we're going to take the derivative of e to the y, which is going to be e to the y times the derivative of y, or y prime. And that's equal to the derivative of e, which is 0. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's solve for y prime. Everywhere you see an x, substitute in a 0. And everywhere you see a y, substitute in 1, because we know that y is equal to 1. So if we go through and we do all of that substitution, and if you solve for y prime, well, the first term will be 1, the second term will be 0, and the third term is going to be e times y prime. And solving for y prime, you're going to get negative 1 over e. So that's what y prime is. So we know that x is 0, we know that y equals 1, and we know that y prime is equal to negative 1 over e. Now we're going to take this equation and we're going to take the second derivative. Okay? So the derivative of the first term is y prime. The derivative of the second term is going to be the product rule. So that's going to be y prime plus x times y double prime. Plus, now we're going to take the derivative of the third term, which is, again, we're going to be using the product rule, so the derivative of the first factor, which is e to the y times the derivative of y prime, or I'm sorry, times the derivative of y, so that'd just be y prime times y prime plus e to the y times the derivative of y prime, which is y double prime. Okay, so the derivative of y is y prime. The derivative of x times y prime is y prime plus x times y double prime. And then the derivative of that third term is e to the y times y prime plus e to the y times y double prime. And that is equal to 0. Now, everywhere you see an x, you plug in a 0. Everywhere you see a y, you plug in a 1. And everywhere you see a y prime, you plug in negative 1 over e. You just substitute all of those values in. So y prime is negative 1 over e, plus y prime, which is negative 1 over e, plus x times y double prime. Well, x is 0, so that term is just gone. And then we have e to the 1 times y prime, which is negative 1 over e, times y prime, which is negative 1 over e. I'm running out of room here. Plus, we'll just go down below here, plus e to the y, which y is 1, so that's e to the first power, or just e, times y double prime. And that's going to equal 0. And if you just combine all your like terms, negative 1 over e plus negative 1 over e is going to be negative 2 over e. This e is going to simplify with that e. So you're going to have negative 2 over e. Negative 1 times negative 1 over e is positive 1 over e. Plus e times e double prime equals 0. Combine like terms again, you get negative 1 over e plus e times y double prime. Solving for y double prime, you got ey double prime is equal to 1 over e. Dividing both sides by e, you get y double prime is equal to 1 over e squared. So I hope you were able to follow along with that.